Hello, everyone. I am Julianne Meyer. You are watching Own Your Wellness, and I'm really excited about today's guest. I met her not that long ago, but it feels like we've been waiting to have this conversation for such a long time. So I'm really excited to bring her on because she's a beautiful soul, a beautiful woman, just a beautiful human being in general. And she is changing the world one person at a time and in the most wonderful way. And I'm so excited for her to teach you guys because this is stuff that I'm interested in. I know you're going to be interested in too. So let's bring her to the stage. Erin Dominick, welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for those kind things, Julianne. I too have been really waiting to have this conversation with you.
It has been a minute. For those that are watching, first of all, for some reason, I was on a cruise, and for some reason, my schedule allowed me to schedule 3 different interviews during the time I was away. I was like, oh my goodness. And Erin was one of them. So we are finally here. I'm finally back in the United States, excited to have this conversation. And, I mentioned a few things about you, but I didn't say anything about you. So I would love for you to share with the audience a bit about yourself and your wellness journey.
Absolutely. I went into healthcare about 20 years ago and then went into occupational therapy. Did occupational therapy for it's been a while. And during that journey, I really found the people that exercise and try to stay healthy throughout their lives are the ones that have the best quality retirements. Not financially, but health. So I went on a huge journey, personal journey, and I took classes in nutrition and I beefed up my physical training, and I really started learning not just about a sick body, but a healthy body.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been about 8 years since I started that journey. And during that time, I have found passion. About 3 years ago, I met my now husband, and he was in the military. He spent 25 years jumping out of airplanes and tours and all kinds of things. And so I started collaborating with my skills to help him not only feel better, but decrease his inflammation so that he could continue to exercise and work out.
Mm-hmm.
And it has just been one of the most incredible journeys. Meeting people, watching people be able to do some amazing things at 70, 80, 90. I want everyone to be able to do that.
I really like that. Something that you said that really resonates with me is this idea of learning about a well body as well as a sick body, because my biggest thing is always the absence of symptoms doesn't equal wellness.
Yes. Yes.
So, I mean, on this adventure that you've been on, I'm sure that you've discovered all sorts of different things that can add quality to life versus just living. And what are some of the things that you've integrated into your day-to-day life that maybe you never thought of in the beginning?
That is a great question. Water.
Yeah.
That honestly, for me, everything I've learned, it really does start at water.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I get up every morning and I drink 32 ounces of water. um, we are water, and
Mm-hmm.
when people get dehydrated, oh, that's tough. And it doesn't mean that you feel it even.
Mm-hmm.
So water, 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 water. Eating right, and that doesn't just mean chicken and broccoli. Um, you got to listen to your body.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you need more food than what you're giving it, and sometimes you need less. talking to your body. I think the biggest thing for me on this adventure is looking at inflammation. With inflammation, we see a breakdown in a body. So even in a healthy body, we start seeing pain. We start seeing, for athletes, it's, gosh, my time wasn't as good this time in this marathon, or I haven't been able to lift like I used to. That inflammation is sneaky, and stress can cause inflammation. Stress from emotional, mental, the physical things that we do. So learning how to calm inflammation was probably the second biggest thing for me.
Something that pops up for me is this idea. I love talking about inflammation because that's something that I don't think a lot of people truly understand what it is. And they think of like bloating as inflammation.
Yes.
Not the same thing.
No, it really isn't. It really isn't. And there's different types of inflammation. So an athlete can have what's known as muscle-induced inflammation, which as an athlete, we kind of want. That inflammation helps us build muscle. So if you go out and you lift heavy things and you pick up heavy things from the floor and the next day your bicep hurts, that's inflammation. That's exercise-induced inflammation. What that is just little tears in our muscle, and then the body responds with inflammation. This is sort of a beneficial inflammation because that builds that muscle. We just want to keep it controlled. We don't want that inflammation to get too much or too painful. And then we have the very unhealthy inflammation. You sit at a desk for 8 hours and you don't look away and you don't do all those self-care things during that desk time, and you stand up and, oh my gosh, my back is so sore. This is crazy. I forgot to stand up and walk around. Your eyeballs are sore. That's unhealthy inflammation. And then we have stress-induced inflammation. And that actually can show itself in a multitude of ways. It can show in headaches. It can show in fatigue. It can show in spontaneous food allergies. That's the sneakiest and the worst inflammation for us because we don't always know the root cause. We don't always know why it's there. So that one's tricky. So again, listening to our bodies.
I keep thinking about when I decided to get healthy, and the reason why this show was even thought of or invented came from my experience of inflammation. It was stress-induced inflammation. I was doing all the things perfectly, like the perfect diet, the perfect exercise. I mean, all the so-called required things to be healthy. And yes, I was in the best physical shape of my life. However, I wasn't healthy. I wasn't well. I was like constantly tired, constantly. I had the headaches. I had all the things that were going on that you're talking about, the food allergies, and I even had a sensitivity to protein.
Oh no.
So I called it like protein anger. If I had too much protein, I was angry, and I knew that it was directly related to how much protein I had.
Wow.
My body couldn't break it down. Yeah, it was fascinating. So that's really how Own Your Wellness came about, because there is more to health and wellness than broccoli and burpees. It's not just what you feed your body, but also, and how you move your body, but also what are you doing to take care of it? Now, I personally think that what you feed your soul and your mind is just as important, but there are so many other physical things that you can do to create wellness versus dealing with symptoms of illness. And is that kind of where your company sort of started from, is like this idea of let's promote wellness?
Yes, absolutely. It is known it is easier to prevent than to fix.
Yeah.
If you can prevent an injury, if you can prevent inflammation, so much easier than fixing it. Inflammation is linked to heart attacks, cancers. There's some evidence that it may be linked to arthritis.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so inflammation, naughty. If you can prevent it, that's so much easier than fixing it. A lot of people think burpees and broccoli, and I love that that's one of your mantras, because it does take more. It takes that self-care. It takes, unfortunately, it takes a little bit of time. But if you take 20, 30 minutes a day now, it saves you years of fixing a situation down the road.
Well, also, if you don't make time for wellness, then you're sure as heck going to have to make time for illness. And that definitely takes a lot more time than just maintenance.
Yes. And, I mean, I could not agree more. I hear all the time, well, I hate doing yoga. Then don't do yoga. Find another way to calm your brain and your body. Well, I don't have time. But did you find 20 minutes to hang out on Facebook or, watch TV? Or, honestly, that little bit of time that we can work into our day saves us years down the road.
Well, also just quality of life. As when I was a personal trainer, I had a lot of older clients. That's what I really focused and specialized in, was older clientele. And so their goals were a little bit different than the beach body. And yeah, a lot of them did want to lose weight, but it was more so that they could get up off the ground when they were done playing with their grandchildren without needing help.
Yes.
Little things like walking on the beach without getting winded.
That's very true. That quality of life. My epiphany, if you will. I was working with a 92-year-old, just one of the sweetest people I've ever known. She had on this cute little pink sweater and her little jeans, and we were doing occupational therapy, and we were just having a conversation. And I said, you're in great shape. Like, I know 60-year-olds that aren't in this kind of shape. And she told me it is the biggest investment that you can make early on that you don't even know you're making, to have a life like that. And she volunteered, and she still drove, and she was able to walk up a flight of stairs. And her husband, unfortunately, had passed, but he was not someone who invested in his retirement, his life, and his quality. And she said he had a very hard passing, and I see that a lot.
Well, I think too, a lot of people kind of find it hard to think about investing in the future because they don't think of the results right now, but that's not what you're saying. You're not saying that there's no value now.
No, not at all.
Get used to doing it now.
Yes. Even in your 30s, you start losing muscle mass. You start losing the ability to repair tissue as quickly. There's a lot of things that start happening even in our 30s. And if you spend all that time sitting on the couch, not eating well, not doing any self-care, you're going to notice it. And even at 32, you're going to go out to ride a bike or run up a flight of stairs and whew, that trying to catch your breath and, being really sore. And gosh, I spent the day in my yard yesterday and I am so sore. These are all the things that are showing inflammation in kind of interrupting your current life.
Yeah. These
are things that you can get under control so that you can have really great quality of life in your 30s, 40s, 50s. So I'm not just talking seniors, but, when you're 30 and you've got a marathon to run, and you are in top shelf, 100% best quality of life, and you go out and you run that marathon, but you don't do the self-care, you'll notice it. You'll notice it the next day.
Well, you don't know this, but I'm doing an Olympic triathlon this month.
Are you really?
I am.
Julianne, that's awesome.
I'll be 46 when I do it. So this is right after my birthday.
Happy birthday and way to go. So
thank you.
Tell me what is the triathlon? Is it the typical run, swim, bike?
Yeah, mile swim. I think it's 24-mile bike ride and a 6-mile run. So should be interesting. I don't feel ready for it. But I'm still going to do it. And it's one of those things where, yes, I'm going to have to be very careful with my body, but a lot of that is also the mental preparation for it. I know I can do it. I know that I can. I know I'm going to be sore afterwards, and I'm okay with all of it because it's something I need to do.
Good for you. I love challenging yourself. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Can I ask what self-care you're doing to kind of assist in your recovery?
Here's the thing is I know what's available to me and I'm not doing all the things that are available to me. So it is embarrassing to share. However, I do take really good care of my stress levels, sleep, eating well, eating for my body so that I can perform, exercising, obviously. I do ice, but I don't ice. I need what you sell in order to feel better. So that is actually a really good segue, but we do need to go to a commercial break. So when we come back, we are going to talk about solutions for inflammation and how people can improve their quality of life, not only now, but also for when they are older. Think about this before we go. Think about this. Imagine if we didn't brush our teeth, what would we be left with? Well, they might last for quite some time, but what would we be left with? It pays to brush those teeth. So we're gonna learn more about how to take care of ourselves better as soon as we come back. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back, everyone. If you're just joining us now, I'm Julianne Meyer. You are watching Own Your Wellness, and today's guest is Erin Dominick. Welcome back to the show. So glad to have you here today.
I am so glad to be here today.
So, before the commercial break, you were asking me about how I was taking care of myself and my body, and knowing all the things that I know, I'm embarrassed to share that I have definitely not been doing all the things I can do. So, one of the things that, you had talked about was like good inflammation versus bad inflammation. And, I know that you have some solutions to creating a healthier body and more of I'm sure it helps with correcting things that have gone wrong, but also preventing. So I'd love for you to share about that.
Thank you. And hey, just the fact that you are doing all those things for your self-care, I definitely applaud you. Absolutely. Thank you for asking. There are many, many products out there right now to help with inflammation. You had mentioned ice. Mm-hmm. Ice is real big right now. And the reason that ice is so big is it's non-invasive. It's not a medicine. When we take some of those name brand drugs to help with our inflammation and the pain, there are side effects. And when you are training like you are, and you are taking a lot of medication, your body is gonna recognize that. Anything that we're ingesting, so that's one of the reasons ice has become so big. Another thing that has become really important is compression. Mm-hmm. So compression is kind of that nice massagey feeling. It pushes all the fluid up and it does a nice fluid exchange inside whatever part of the body you're compressing, and that increases your healing. With that healing and with that fluid exchange comes increased oxygen. Oxygen and all those little cells in there exchanging around, that boosts the healing. The ice component decreases the inflammation. So that's where the pain comes in. One of the reasons ice is great is because you can target. So Julianne, you're probably taking an ice pack and you're putting it on your back or you're putting it on your knee. So it's not a full body immersion.
No.
The full body immersions are pretty popular right now. But that's not a controlled inflammation decreaser. That drops your entire core temperature. Mm-hmm. There are parts of your body that maybe you don't need that ice for. So the product that I use is actually called BioCryo, and it uses compression and cryotherapy to decrease the inflammation in a targeted area, and it increases the fluid exchange, which boosts the healing. So as you see here, simple little machine there.
I love it.
You slip on that boot, you wrap it around your knee, you wrap it around your back, your shoulder, elbow, hand, whatever area you are in need of just getting some quick relief to. And it'll give you a nice massage and at the same time give you that really great cryotherapy. The BioCryo has been, and two people can use the same machine at the same time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, these are some of my clients. He has been through a couple back surgeries. So he uses the back, and she is a runner. And she is going to do her first ultra.
Oh, wow.
This summer, yes. And she has used the BioCryo religiously. She reaches out to me often to let me know that her times are getting better, that, she's able to get further distances because that healing time is decreased. So in the evenings, they throw on their BioCryo and they sit for 20 minutes, and that pain is decreased, the healing is increased, and they are good to go.
Well, the thing that I like about that too is, you're already sitting down. You're either on Facebook or Instagram or watching Netflix or something like YouTube, whatever the case may be. So you might as well be doing something for yourself anyway. Now, I know a lot of people are asking, is it because they're thinking ice bath, they're thinking compression. So does it hurt, or is it something that is like something that they can like breathe through? What can people expect?
That perfect question. The settings on there are adjustable. So if it is too much pressure, you just decrease the pressure a little bit. Most people actually increase the pressure because it feels fantastic.
Ooh, nice.
It should not hurt. If it hurts, you got something else going on, to be honest. And that could be a very good judge. If you wake up one morning and you're like, oh my gosh, my BioCryo hurts, get to the doctor, because it shouldn't hurt.
Sorry. Something else I was going to say too. This is medical grade equipment, so it's a tax write-off.
Absolutely, it is. Absolutely. And truthfully, being medical grade equipment means that we can warranty longer than the industry standard. Industry standard is 1 year. We warranty for 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We back this product. It is American made, US made, and there was no expense in putting all this medical grade equipment together. The actual compressor in there, you can set the time, you can set the pressure, you can even set a little focus area. So should you choose to use a full leg sleeve, but today it's your knee, tomorrow it's your ankle, you can kind of choose where the focus is. It honestly is a fantastic product. The only problem I do have is that I recommend this to a lot of my occupational therapy clients, and I find that they will use the BioCryo hands down religiously every single time. Oh, I do it nightly. Sometimes I do it twice a day. But no, Erin, I haven't done your exercise program. Because honestly, the BioCryo does feel so good, and it does decrease the pain and inflammation to the point where they're like, I don't need it. I work with a lot of athletes, such as the woman that you saw there getting ready to do an ultra. And I have several athletes that are at state level competitions, just desperately trying to get to a national level. And this has been a huge part of their program. I have a gentleman that does back squats, and he really wants to push through. And he's only, oh gosh, I think he's 30, 31. And so, he doesn't hurt the way maybe you and I do after doing some really heavy squats, but part of his program is to use the BioCryo nightly to increase the healing so that he can push for a bigger PR. And I just love watching him because I know he's going to take it to the next level.
I love that. I love that. Something that I was thinking about, because the people that are watching don't know that my husband's planning on buying one of these machines, and I kind of talked him into it. He was already interested in it, but it was kind of fascinating how the whole thing came about, because he was looking online for ones and he's like, I'm afraid I'm going to buy something. And I thought, I want the compression and the ice, and everything seems to just be cold and no compression. And I was like, I've got the solution for you. But here's the thing that I want to point out about my husband. He's 53, and he's not an athlete, but he's had knee surgeries on both of his knees, and he plays pickleball all the time.
Good for him.
So, in order for him to feel up to speed and able to play pickleball at the level that he wants to play, he has to do this. He does ice baths and ice therapy type stuff all the time. But he is very aware of the fact that what you're offering is a step above that, and also just healthier. It's just, there's just more benefit to it. So I just wanted to point that out, because those people that are like, well, I'm not going to state, I'm not, I'm older, I don't plan on running an ultra marathon. Yeah, it's not, I mean, that is a target audience as well, but that doesn't mean that if your back is aching,
Yes.
it doesn't need to.
No. And in all honesty, I bring up the athletes and the seniors because it's everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It is everyone. My son, he is 27, and he has zero interest in exercise. He is doing his own thing. He's, working his job, but he works a lot of hours. And he called me and he said, "Do you think that bio-cryo thing would work for me?" I'm on the way. I'm on the way. So I brought him over to bio-cryo, and he called me after 3 days and he said, "You're not getting this back." And he doesn't even exercise. He just works a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so he, even at 27, he's, kind of having some achy pains. And he loves it.
Well, I think that brings up a really important point, in that there's this excuse that we make for our bodies. I'm getting older. Of course of course I'm feeling it. I'm getting older. Yeah, that does not mean that has to be your experience. That 92-year-old,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's ways to take care of yourself. And something that, I'm always going to push for exercise and movement. I'm always going to push for that. However, the thing that, I'm going to say kudos to your son, because he's doing something for his wellness, even if it isn't all of the things. He's doing something.
Yes.
Well, that's going to be the way that's your step in, then do that.
Exactly. It's again, he is decreasing some negative inflammation. This was not exercise induced inflammation. This is the inflammation that our bodies are really not happy with. And I would much rather he decrease the inflammation through an external source that feels great, versus, popping some pills and, hoping for the best, so that later, even next year, he's in a better place.
Well, that's something else that I really want to touch on, is this idea of popping pills, because there are certain things that I will definitely, like if my dad had open heart surgery. So if he needs to be on a statin, then by all means, then for the rest of your life, that works for you, please do that. I'm not saying I'm against all medication. However, I am saying, and this is my own personal belief, that masking the symptom instead of going to the core of what is wrong is never ultimately going to be a good thing. Anytime you introduce something foreign into your body, it disrupts everything else. So every time, are you okay with the symptoms you're going to get from the pill that's supposed to be solving the other issue that you had?
Yes. And some of those pills, and I take a few of those if I get a headache, or sometimes we have to take them. I am also not a big fan of them.
Yeah.
two of the big ones that most of us would take for a headache or a body ache have been known to cause liver damage, kidney damage, blood clots, and for my athletes, for my seniors, for the people that, just want to get that inflammation down and feel better, those drugs have also been known to delay healing.
Exactly.
So I'm with you. I think anything that we ingest or take into our bodies, I too have a thyroid pill that I have to take every day. That's kind of a must, but I'm very careful with anything else that I ingest.
Well, that's my point. I'm not saying that all medication is bad. I'm saying that when you go to a doctor, they're going to use the tools that they know and to help you. So yes. If you go to a nutritionist, they're going to prescribe food. And if you go to a doctor, they're going to prescribe pills. If you go to a personal trainer, they're going to prescribe exercise. So you got to think about who you're going to and what kind of answer you're going to get. And really, I think that that's where, and you were talking about this, is listening to your body. What's right for you? Only you know that.
Yes. And on that note, I would love for everyone to stick into their vocabulary, what can I do? Instead of what can I take? A lot of us will go to the doctor and just, they're exactly what you said. They're giving you what they know. But if you say, what can I do? Sometimes there's alternatives.
Exactly. Ask a better question. And that's the thing that is interesting. And I've interviewed people. There was a gentleman that I interviewed who was basically the first person to live after being on a ventilator from COVID. And he was like the first one to actually make it. And, him and his wife wrote a book about it. And it was like this whole idea of asking better questions and then dealing with like not putting all your trust into the doctor over yourself.
Yes.
We are taught to, and I'm not saying, and please, for those of you that are watching, I am not saying don't listen to your doctor. I am not saying that. I'm saying listen to yourself as well. So that's what I'm getting at. But we do need to go to one more commercial break. When we come back, we're going to continue this conversation and talk about, the positives and negatives of different things that we could do versus take. And also just other little health things that maybe you haven't thought of as a consumer. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back, everyone. If you're just joining us now, I'm Julianne Meyer. You are watching Own Your Wellness, and Erin Dominick is our guest today. We are excited to have you here. And this has been really fun and informative. And I know that a lot of people watching are like, oh, I never thought of it like that. Or I didn't know this existed. So that's one of the things that I love about what you are bringing to the world is an alternative that is proactive versus reactive and also preventative as well as healing. So it hits all the right buttons and it's not something that gives you like a side effect.
Honestly, the only side effect you're going to get is feeling fantastic.
Oh, shucks. I'm definitely not mad at that. That's absolutely amazing. So I think, you kind of touched on this before, but there's a lot of things when it comes to exercise and nutrition and all of these wellness ideas that it takes a while. It takes a while to see or experience anything new and different from the new action that we're taking. But you were mentioning about your son in particular, which I think is kind of like somebody that isn't experiencing a whole bunch of anything. And for him to feel a difference within, say, 3 days, that to me speaks volumes of the quality of adding this into a daily life. Now, is this a routine that is something that should be done absolutely every day? Or is it kind of like one of those things where I'm on vacation, I'm not going to do it?
Yes. It is, you know your body best,
mm-hmm.
right? If you are having some inflammation, if you're having some pain, break it out, use it. If you are training, if you are, out working, yes, if you are out working in the garden, and gosh, man, tomorrow I'm going to be hurting, break it out. Some people love to use just the compression daily because
mm-hmm.
it does feel great. And they'll leave the cryotherapy out of it. Some people will use the BioCryo just as needed or only when they're training. I have a woman she's beautiful and she does competitions. And so this becomes part of her daily regimen when she is training, but then she throws it in the closet when she's not. Again, you know your body best.
I like that. The thing that I'm hearing too is that you don't lose the benefits just because you stop. So it's just one of those things where you have to listen. It's not like you're going to automatically revert back the second you stop. Like if you stop taking your pills, there can be adverse reactions. So
yes, exactly. And it's meant to enhance life. It's meant to enhance the quality of life. It's not life-saving.
Mm-hmm.
It is quality of life-saving. And I'm glad that you recognize that.
And I wanted to point that out too. There's this, this has nothing to do with anything we were talking about, but you'll understand why I'm bringing it up. My parents do animal rescue and they have almost my entire life. So we get a lot of, I'm not there anymore, but they get a lot of hospice type situations or even just high care animals that need to be nursed back to health or they're just born and they're, all these different types of things. But they don't always make it because of the situation that they came from. And the criteria that my parents have for putting down an animal are 3 things. Are they eating? Are they pooping? And do they have any quality of life? If they're missing any one of those 3 things, that's when they pull the plug. So to me, it's not necessary. I would rather, I'm not saying it has to be either or, but I would rather live till I'm 92 and be able to go up those stairs and have quality of life versus living to 92 and not being able to do all that stuff and just be alive.
Yes. Yes. And I would much rather live to be 92 climbing the stairs, and for that 92 years know that I had something that I could pull out that
help.
can help.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Can I just say your parents are fabulous. That's just truly an amazing thing they do. So thank you.
Yeah, they're amazing, and they've really taught me a lot about caring, caring for others, caring for ourselves, just even the way that they take care of themselves, and maybe doing the things that aren't necessarily popular. And I think that that kind of brings us back to what you're bringing to the table. It's not really well known, or people think that it's impossible. They got to go to, one of those places to do it, or,
Yes.
Personally,
yes.
I would rather just be able to sit on the couch and watch my show and know that I'm doing something of value while I'm watching my show.
True, very true. And I'm glad that you brought those places up. There's definitely a place for that. We talked a little bit before about a targeted decrease inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
When you go in for a full body cryo, again, there's a place for it, but it's not targeted, and you decrease everything. Your core temp, there's there's things that go along with that.
Yeah.
Most of the people that use my product love the fact you can do it at home. It's not messy, so you're not throwing ice into your bathtub. It's not something that you have to keep buying refills for.
Mm-hmm.
When you buy the product, you're good. The cryo is reusable, and the difference in cost, let's just go there. When you go to do a full body cryo, usually you're looking somewhere between $45 and $100 per session.
Mm-hmm.
You have to find the time in your calendar. Then you have to wait in line, and then you're hoping nobody was gross before you and that everything's been sanitized. Versus having an at-home system that was yours. If you sweat in it the day before, it's your sweat. Wipe it out. The cost of the ice baths, if you do it at home, right, you're looking at $30 to $70 in ice each time. You're kind of looking at a mess, right?
Definitely a mess. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have to get the guts to get into that tub because it's really cold.
Exactly.
There's a place for everything. The cause and effect of all these things needs to be taken into account, and pros and cons, benefits.
Well, the thing that I love about the idea of it being localized is it's not all or nothing. Like I know the value of taking a cold shower. Am I going to take one? No, I'm really not. I can't. I have every intention of doing it or trying it and never. I'm just like, nope.
Nope, not going to happen. Nope, not on my end either. And
nope, not going to happen. But if I, if my knee hurts, I don't want my head to be cold.
Yes. It's, and truthfully, when you have, let's use a knee, you can, if you've got that pain and that inflammation, you can usually feel it's a little bit warmer than the rest of your body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when you get that BioCryo on there, that ice actually kind of feels good because it's cooling it down. But when you strap ice onto an area of the body that doesn't have it's just cold. To me, I won't do it.
literally, it feels weird in my heart. I don't like the way it feels in my heart. I'm like, that doesn't sit right with me. So I'm not going to do that.
Yes, absolutely. I've got a friend that does the polar bear plunge in an area close to us, and I don't have the guts to do it.
Me either. I mean, more power to you. I admire that. I admire Wim Hof. I admire all that. But yeah, no, that's not me. Anyway, we are almost out of time. Is there anything that you would love to mention that maybe you haven't, or any pieces of wisdom that you wish that you had known earlier in your journey? Just anything that you'd love to share with the audience.
Thank you for that opportunity. You know, you've done a great job of leading this interview. Again, just to reiterate, even if you are not using my product, inflammation destroys our bodies. So pay attention to your bodies. Is it good inflammation? Is it bad inflammation? You know, we've given some suggestions on how to get that negative inflammation down. So hopefully that helps a lot of people out. And before we leave, can you just tell me what a wonderful time you had on your trip?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was fabulous. Although I will say that I ate way too much food. Talk about inflammation. Oh, my gut was like so mad at me. Like, oh my gosh, I was craving to not eat.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
I'm
it was
glad you.
definitely a lot of fun. But I want to also pop up this again for everybody, just so that they have one more opportunity to just go take a look and see, the offerings that Erin has. And I love that, you're here today to really teach about inflammation and how you can live a more quality life if you can reduce that, whether or not they choose to use your product, but you're here to help heal. And I just want to say thank you for that, because I think that is a beautiful thing. So
Thank you. As a healer, just at my core, that's honestly the message that I want to get out. I just have a fantastic product to help.
Exactly. You have a solution. So we would be doing a disservice not to share that with everyone. But anyway, that is all the time that we have for today. I want to say thank you again, Erin, for being here. And to everybody who's watching, enjoy the rest of your week. We'll see you again next week. Bye for now.